Hey guys, welcome back to Judo Highlights. Today we'll have a look at some potential matchups at under 100s at the Paris Olympics. Now this is going to be a good one, probably under 100s and under 81s, probably going to be really exciting. I think those two categories in particular, there's going to be quite a lot of upsets. Especially in this category, under 100s, there's no clear favorite like under 81s where most people are picking either Grigolashvili or Nagase. So first up in this video we'll talk about the wild cards. I think these guys are going to play a big part in how things unfold. A lot of these guys have wins over the seeded players, and in my opinion a lot of them are just as good as the seeded players as well, so it's going to be interesting. We'll start off with Kokuje, who you're seeing on the screen here, getting a Sankakujime on Arai. Next up we've got Gonçalves, someone who I speak highly of, really good judo, strong ashiwaza techniques and good combinations as well. Next up is H, and he's someone who can cause a lot of problems for a lot of people, although there are a couple of matchups that I think don't work in his favor. He's had some problems against Aaron Wolf. I think he might struggle with shorter fighters, so if he gets put up against Pirelli or maybe Fonseca, that could be a problem for him. And while we're on that topic of Pirelli, he's got several wins over Aaron Wolf. I think Aaron Wolf is going to be praying that he doesn't get put in the same pool as Pirelli, and I think he's going to hope that someone else takes him out. And there's also Farah. He's someone who probably doesn't have as good of a record as a lot of these other guys, but he's got some of the most explosive techniques, and he could really cause an upset. Now the last person I'll talk about is Aaron Wolf, previous Olympic champion. So for him, it doesn't really matter that he's unseeded. I mean, it's up to luck pretty much what kind of a draw he's going to get, but he's definitely someone that everyone's going to be looking at. Now I've heard that his form, his conditioning is absolutely incredible right now. He's injury free, the weight is going down, and recently his results have been better and better. After the Paris Olympics, I mean, he was appearing on TV too much, eating too much, and his form just got away from him. There was also a rule change. He talked about how the gripping rules have changed and he had to adapt his strategy. And he was saying that's one of the main reasons he was losing to Pirelli, is he just couldn't deal with Pirelli's gripping, and then he was getting the Shidos against him. I don't have a lot of time to explain it in this video, but to sum it up, he was saying it's better to let someone get a grip first than for you to take a grip first, because now you can break it off with two hands and then work from there. So those are all the wild cards, and now I'll put the draw up on the screen so you guys can have a look at it. And we're going to start with the top left, talk about Kotsoyev versus Bot Kuyag. Now Kotsoyev, he is the #1 seed. He is recently crowned world champion. And these two, they haven't faced off against each other before, but Kotsoyev, just on the run he's on now, his form, I mean his techniques are absolutely amazing. So I got to pick Kotsoyev in this matchup. I don't think Bot Kuyag has much to offer Kotsoyev in this matchup. Going down to the next quarterfinal, we've got Toroboyev against Coral. These two have faced off against each other 3 times, and Toroboyev, he's won all 3 of them. So I think he'll like this matchup. It's going to be a difficult one for Coral to win. I think for the Uzbekistan team, Toroboyev is that guy. He's probably got a lot of expectations around him that he's going to go all the way and take gold. And I definitely think he's going to be one of the favorites. He's still quite young. Every time you see him come out, he looks more physical, looks like he's putting on weight. His techniques are getting better. He's getting better with playing the game as well. So Toroboyev, that's an easy pick, I think. It would be a huge upset if Coral took him out in the quarterfinal stages. So let's talk about the semi-final between those two, Kotsoyev and Toroboyev. These two, they've gone up against each other before, and Kotsoyev actually has a win over Toroboyev. Now, interestingly, in this contest, Toroboyev, he actually gets a score with this awkward Uchimata Makikomi that he does. And then Kotsoyev, he comes back, and now Kotsoyev, he's got one of the strongest, most amazing Surikomi Goshis in the business. So throws him for Ippon, and now you can see by the back page, Toroboyev, world champion from the previous year. But I do have to say, Toroboyev, he looks different from this time to now. He's filled out a little bit more. He's much more mature. He's got more experience on the tatami. This is going to be a really hard match to call. So my pick, and this might be an unpopular opinion, but I'm going to go with Kotsoyev here. I think that Uchimata Makikomi, it's something special, and for the Olympics, people are going to be prepared for it. especially knowing the potential matchups. On the other hand, Kotsuev, he's got a few more techniques. That Tsurikomigoshi is really hard to stop. And he's definitely got a bit of momentum behind him at the moment, becoming world champion. But I gotta say, for this one, your guess is as good as mine. Now we'll move over to the other side of the bracket, and starting at the top right, we've got Salamanidze. He is the number 2 seed against Fonseca. This is an interesting contest. Both of them, they've been away from the tatami a little bit. Salamanidze, I don't think he's competing as much as he would like to. And I also think both of these guys aren't at their best form at the moment. Although they'll definitely be planning to be at their best form for the Olympics. Now it's 2 wins to Salamanidze, 1 for Fonseca. I'm going to go with Salamanidze in this contest. Fonseca, he is really good at throwing big taller guys, but just having a look at their contest, Salamanidze really shuts down a lot of what Fonseca tries to do. So I'm going to pick Salamanidze in this one. And now for the last quarterfinal, we've got El Nahas against Shiraz Dishvili. Now Shiraz Dishvili, really interesting, came up from under 90s, had some bad results, early exits, and then he just got bigger, stronger, got used to the weight category, and now he's putting together a lot of good wins. Now, several of those good wins have actually been against El Nahas. He's got 4 wins against him, and El Nahas just the 1. And so I'm going to go with Shiraz Dishvili now. If you have a look at his record on Judo Base, it's actually really good. In 2024, he's only lost to Kanikovitsky, Aaron Wolf, and Kotsuev. So I think a lot of people are going to be looking at other judoka who have been in this weight category for a lot longer than Shiraz Dishvili. But I'm actually starting to think that he might go pretty far. So I'm going to pick him here in this quarterfinal, and that'll put him up against Salamanidze. Now, as I said, Salamanidze not competing as frequently as Shiraz Dishvili. He only competed twice in 2024, although only lost once, and that was to Kanikovitsky. But when you look at who he's beaten this year and last year in 2023, there's not a lot of big names. So Gonzalez, Bozbayev, Bilalov, Nikiforov, Veg. Whereas Shiraz Dishvili, he's faced a lot more higher level competition, at least in the recent last 2 years. Now, these two, they haven't fought each other. Obviously, that's because a little bit of inconsistency by Salamanidze and Shiraz Dishvili just recently coming up in weight class. Now, I thought about this one for a little bit, and I've got to go with Shiraz Dishvili here. I just feel Salamanidze hasn't really faced really high level competition recently. Shiraz Dishvili has. He's proved himself. He did a lot at under 90s as well. I'm going to go with him for this contest. Now that would put Shiraz Dishvili against Kotsuev in the final. Now these two, they have fought before. Kotsuev won that contest by Shido, but for a brief moment, Shiraz Dishvili did have Osaikomi. It's a close matchup between the two of them. Now earlier in the video, I did mention Aaron Wolf, and he's unseeded. So he's going to be on either side of this bracket, and earlier on, it's possible that he's going to be up against Kotsuev or Shiraz Dishvili. Now interestingly, Wolf, he has wins over both of these guys, but one guy that he hasn't fought yet is Toroboyev. And if you saw what Toroboyev did to Nakano, so I much prefer Aaron Wolf's chances against Kotsuev and Shiraz Dishvili than I do Toroboyev. And of course, a lot of this comes down to how the draw works out and how those unseeded players are placed. I do think it's going to be one of these 4 guys: Wolf, Toroboyev, Shiraz Dishvili, or Kotsuev. So we'll put Aaron Wolf to the side right now. We don't know what the draw is going to look like. Just based on what we've got now, I'm going to pick Shiraz Dishvili to take it at under 100s. It's not a confident pick. If Aaron Wolf ends up on the right side of the bracket and Pirelli's on the left, I think I might pick Wolf. But anyway guys, that's what I think. Let me know what you think in the comments. It might be a bit controversial to pick Shiraz Dishvili out of all of these guys, but that's what I think. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.